So Leigh will be in black tonight and kicking in this first half from right to left and getting the match underway. And it's Zach Hardacre who returns to his familiar role, his old role of fullback tonight, having played in the centres this season, but it's the position he won the Man of Steel award in. It's almost a decade ago now, that, by the way. Amazing how time goes by. But Huddersfield get first use of the ball here in the familiar Giants colours of claret. Here's Chris Hill back in the lineup tonight. The evergreen Chris Hill. And here's the first half break of the match as Lollahea comes in from full-back. And that's the difference, Carl, I guess, isn't it? You have Lollahea at full-back. It allows him to chime into the line and become a real threat in an attacking way, the way the game's played in the modern era. Yeah, huge opportunity as well for Ollie Russell. He gets his chance tonight. He started the first 5 games of season 24, and then a period out. He's now kicking the ball high and into that corner. Just challenging Milo Hanley to come up with it. It's a handover there, a decent opening set to the start of this game for the Giants. Yeah, they'll be happy with that first set of 6, I'm sure. Sam Halsall got his hands to the ball, but he was unable to get his arms free to offload as he was swarmed upon by a pack of leopards over on the far side of the field. So Leigh with the ball here. They won here last year, but that's the only victory they've had at the John Smith Stadium against Huddersfield Giants. They've met 7 times here, and Leigh with a solitary victory. Huddersfield with victories in the other 6 matches, and a victory at Leigh in the first match of the season away from home. 16 points to 8. Good win. The season started very well for Huddersfield. And prior to this recent miserable run, they'd won 5 on the trot, including winning by plenty at Catalan in the Cup. Yeah, but it's all seemed to have gone a bit south over the last month or so. And you just get a sense, Rod, that if the Leopards were to come here tonight and win, there's a certain amount of pressure building around Ian Watson. Yeah, really all the teams are under pressure in Super League. Virtually every match, it's so close. You lose a couple of games and you drop 3 or 4 places on the league ladder. And Leigh, having gone unbeaten for 3 games, if they can stretch the run to 4, will be 1 point away from Huddersfield, and then looking up into the top 6, targeting the likes of Salford. Yeah, but having those players like we mentioned earlier, Tom Amon, Ipape, having them back, playing big minutes, good soft short ball there by Cudjoe. But having those guys back, it just frees up and takes pressure off Robbie Mulhern, and that starting 13 for the away team looks a bit more strong. It's a short pass here, and he's away, screw there. Luke Yates is the man striding through, but he's taken down, and Lachlan Lamb competes the tackle. The new hooker Tom Deakin comes in as they get the ball. Oh my! And knocked on the wing, and great disappointment by Wallace. Yeah, it was Adam Clune's cut-out ball. There was 3 Huddersfield Giants players there, all queuing up, and he throws the long pass, and it's just around Elliot Wallace's shoelaces. Just far too deep in there, difficult take for him, and a chance gone begging, Rod. Well, Elliot Wallace has scored 4 tries this season, and what a try that one was against Wigan, by the way. He scored here a couple of weeks ago. One of the tries of the season as he went waltzing through the Warriors' defence for an absolute barnstormer. But there was something fairly simple. Had he picked the ball up there, and it wasn't a 100% guarantee that he was going to collect that pass. But the space was there, Rod. It was there for the taking. And I just like, look, 3 minutes in, and already you can see what Huddersfield's tactic is. Short, soft little passes near the line, making one-on-ones, making Leigh defenders accountable, and they broke through twice. Well, James Vella's been in conversation with Ben Thaler, the video referee. There was a suggestion, a query if there was any foul play, but tied it up between the 2 officials. I think it's Kevin Nagama just down in that corner, receiving treatment as Vella just stands over the top and looks on. Let's hope he's okay. The quality play in Nagama, 35 years old. His 40th appearance tonight for the Huddersfield Giants, ever present in season 2024. Plenty of striking and around Nagama. He won the grand final a few years ago with St Helens in a game that Kyle Amor played in. Yeah, no, he won 3 of those grand finals over at St Helens, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of them all. He couldn't have won it without you, Carl.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Right, this is what we were looking at. The Garma's okay. I think that the contact was over the shoulder, according to the officials, but we're going to see the former Saints centre leave the field.
Yeah, just Josh Charnley there takes a bite in on him and just catches him, but I don't think there's anything else in it. So it looks like Leroy Cudjoe has flipped over into the centre. And Jack Hughes will take his place at loose forward. You talk about players, you know, we mentioned Kevin Agama, but what about Leroy Cudjoe? His 17th season, second all-time appearances for the Huddersfield club. A chance to take over Earl Crabtree. The quality servant he's been to the game.
And the only man above him on the Super League try chart for the Giants is the great Jermaine McGilvery. He didn't mind scoring a try.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I do remember Leroy's great iconic moment of Super League in the playoffs at Warrington, I think at 2010, when Nathan Brown was riding a finish up and down the touchline.
Yeah, he was.
One of the great Super League tries. And Leroy's still going strong. There's Ipape in at dummy half, as Leigh trying to get themselves out of their own danger area, their own red zone. Chris Hill, he'll get through plenty of tackles tonight, don't you worry about that. O'Donnell, Ipape again, and Amon goes charging forward, making the hard yards up towards the halfway line. They're 12 yards inside their own half here.
Offload there by Mulhern.
Mulhern to Lachlan Lamb. Lamb with the dancing feet, but two Huddersfield Giants close him down. Last tackle here. Matt Moylan gets it away under pressure. A little bit of afters going on there, but Halsol's got hold of it, and he's not going to go through 3 or 4 Leigh tacklers.
That's good defence there from the Leigh Leopards. Hardacre and Holton in there, just driving him back. It's another good shot there.
But there's the offload. Lolohea offloads. Masters. Plenty of movement here. Again, Lolohea, we've seen him coming into the line and putting the steps on, even deep inside his own half. He's not afraid to show his skills, the former Salford and Leigh star. Jack Murtry carries the ball over the halfway line for the Huddersfield Giants. And in comes Deakin. And it'll go to Russell. And Russell again with a bomb, same tactic and the same catch. No problem for Hanley over on that far right-hand wing. Hardacre now.
Yeah, both sides just feeling each other out at the moment, Rod. All playing pretty conservatively, just trying to get through the sets and seeing which one of the opposition side's going to crack first. There's an old offload there.
Ipape takes full advantage. Didn't need the second invitation after the offload. But Yates put a break on that. Mulhern again, the offload. We're seeing the ball getting moved a lot here. Neither side afraid to put the ball through hands. Moylan, Amon. They've made good ground here. They're 30 metres out, and Matt Moylan puts the ball high. The bomb. And it's spilled forward, back to 1. No, still the last is the cry. Played now, and now back to 1. I thought it might be back to 1 after the first contact, but the little grubber through from Zach Hardacre has got the result. They get another set here, the Leopards. They're knocking on the door for the first time tonight. Ipape waits. Tom Amon went a step too soon. Lamb, Moylan. Moylan finds Lamb again, Lachlan Lamb. Challenge Cup hero last year. Still the Leopards pressing forward now. Ipape waits, Jack Hughes to play the ball. A couple of metres out. Amon, he did well to keep hold of that initially, but then he couldn't keep it from going loose. It was behind his back. He did well to handle it initially, but he couldn't hold on in the end.
Yeah, loose pass really. from Epape. Just Tom Moore, when he catches that ball, it's just on his backside. And under the sheer weight and pressure of the defence of Huddersfield Giants, the ball just comes away. It's the Giants who'll turn the ball over. 10 metres away from their own end. They've got 90 metres, Rod, to get up the other end of the field. They've already shown early doors that they're able to come up with a couple of line breaks. The warning shots have been fired for the away side.
Huddersfield starting the 9th and 8th spot. They finished 9th in Super League in 2023. 6 points shy of the playoffs. Leigh made the playoffs, as we recall, went out at the first stage to hold KR away from home, but had the glory of the Challenge Cup win and a never-to-be-forgotten day against the same opponents at Wembley. Lachlan Lamb with the heroic drop goal. Deakin looking for options. Finds one on his left-hand side, but it's shut down. It was Rushton. This is Deakin again. And Leigh trying to win the field position battle.
Well, just look where they're kicking the ball here from, Ron. 15 metres away from their own line. They started that set 10 metres. They gained 5 metres in total there. Yeah, the net result is a mile of Hanley. Good through some decent defence, almost crossing back over into the Huddersfield territory.
You feel if this is a battle of field position, Leigh are winning it.
They certainly are. You know, through those defensive actions that we just mentioned earlier, terrific line speed over the last couple of weeks. And they get a 6 again here from Josh Charlie.
They do. They might get a penalty in a minute here. Lamb dances through one tackle, not through the other. The player slow to get up was Harry Rushton, and he's the one that's been pinged for the 6 again. So Leigh now in full cry here, the Leopards. We know they favour the left-hand side of attack. Here they come. Lamb offload to O'Donnell. The penalty, high tackle.
There's a little no-look pass there from Lamb and the line from Kai O'Donnell, but the contact was high. And you're right to mention that left edge. 48 tries, Rod, that Leigh have scored this season. 19 of that left edge here tonight have all come down there. That left edge of Lamb, O'Donnell, Latelli and Charnley, lethal.
Charnley has scored in the last 4 games for Leigh. Phenomenal try-scoring career, 300 in 353 games, absolutely astonishing. And he may be still just a touch underrated, I think, Charnley. His record is almost second to none. Astonishing try-scoring record over such a long time. It started in 2010 with Blackpool. 14 years ago and still going strong, Josh Charnley. Lamb, Moylan, here he is, Charnley! You can put your house on him. Josh Charnley. He crops up in the right place, in the right time, over and over and over again. And Josh Charnley with the opening 4-pointer.
Yeah, and it was that left edge that we've spoken about moments earlier. Just beautiful play, beautiful shape down there as well. And Josh Charnley crosses over for his 239th Super League try. 7 behind Ryan Hall. And all of them, Hall and Charnley, both chasing down Danny Maguire. But again, just decent shape. Matt Moylan popping up out the back as well, just to add that extra number. And Charnley, well, he won't score perhaps an easier one than that.
Great try scorers make it look easy, Carl, don't they?
Well, the space was created there due to Moylan popping up from the other side. And Charnley just holds and waits and knows that that ball will find it over into his hands. And it's Charnley who opens the score up tonight.
It works like clockwork down that left-hand side for the Leigh Leopards, and you could set your watch by Josh Charnley, that's for sure. That is try number 9 for the Super League season for the Leigh Leopards. Puts them a couple behind the pace setters in the top of the try-scoring charts. Marshall and Swift, isn't it? I think for Super League 11 each. And Adam Swift misses out tonight. Recurrence of a groin injury in the Cup semi-final against Warrington.
Well, you've got to remember as well that this is a side that sat 9th in the table and he's still scoring tries for fun. You know, imagine if this side can start to get those bodies back, get the best players playing in form, there'll be a whole lot more. As Moylan, he's got it. He's nailed it. 6-0.
Moylan, 29th goal of Super League 24 in his 40th attempt.
Josh Charnley, a try scorer in round 1, over at the Leigh Sport Village, and gets another one tonight, and it's high fives all around for the Leopards.
And they get the ball from the Huddersfield kickoff. Huddersfield had the first big chance of the game. Wallace knocked on close to the try line when they created an overlap down the right-hand flank. And at the other end, Leigh made them pay a very heavy price.
Well, there's a simple sort of recipe in this game, and I've no doubt that when Adrian Lamb and Chris Chester look at that, yes, you see the end result as a try in the corner, but it's the work they did defensively the set before to get them from kicking that ball deep inside. It puts them in the field position to nail that opening try.
Yeah, I'm sure the data analysts at Leigh will be purring at that, because they'll have calculated if you can win the field position battle, get yardage in the opposition's red zone, force them to have difficulty clearing their lines and get the ball back near the halfway line, eventually it'll lead to a try, and it led to one there. Moylan kicks.
Well, it's too long.
Collected in goal. That kick too long from the Australian. It'll be a 7-tackle restart set for the Giants. It's gone too quickly here, Halsall. He's out of the starting blocks too soon. False start, told to start again. That is the 0 tackle, so 6 from here for the Giants. Here's Lola here again. The simple drop-off pass. But again, the Leigh Leopards swarming like Leigh locusts here, all over them. The whistle blows. Offside this time.
Disappointing, really. You're not going to affect it by being 1 metre behind the referee, but the other way around, they're just in front of him.
That is the danger with what I've just called the locust defence.
Yeah. I mean, your intent's still the same, though, Rod, but you can just see that
if you jump the gun, though, you're going to get pulled up.
Absolutely.
In any regard, Masters restarts the game for the Giants. Chris Hill comes charging in. Well, you talk about veteran forwards, men synonymous with the Super League era post-2000. Chris Hill is one of them.
Yeah, closing in on 550 appearances in his whole career, and he's just one more away from 50 in the claret and gold. But they're moving the ball here to
Russell,
the left-hand side.
Lola here, goes further wide. Masters now, Esan Masters, submerged by Leigh Leopards. Zach Hardacre is one of them. Russell again, opts to run, then offloads. And now Murchie takes it to within 10 metres of the Leigh line. Leigh lead here, 6-0. Charnley try, Moylan conversion. Russell again, puts the left boot to the ball. Well collected by Matt Moylan at fullback. Sweeping up.
Yeah, Matt Moylan there just putting himself in a fantastic position, just anticipating that kick through the first line of defence, and he's there to collect it and just deny the threat of the home team.
Playing at standoff tonight, but dropped back into his fullback position there to sweep up behind the line. That's know-how.
Well, that's just his experience.
Yes.
He knows exactly where he's needed to be when a threat's there. And speaking of a threat...
Oh, is he hurt there in the tackle, Edwin Ipape? Certainly, the way he reacted, the pain was etched all over his face. And that will be an absolute bitter blow if Ipape is hurt here.
Well, he's
the
only
PNG international.
Yeah, he's only just been back in the side the last couple of weeks, returned in that 28-all draw against Castleford. Yeah. This will be a huge, huge blow for Adrian Lamb.
It was a knee injury that he suffered before, wasn't it? And that may be the problem again here. Physio's taking a look.
It certainly looks like they're checking out that left knee.
Yeah.
And he looks in all sorts of pain.
But the reaction was instantaneous, yeah. Kyle, wasn't it? You know,
Rod, you just know, don't you? You know, yeah, by the way a rugby league player lies on the floor.
Yeah.
You're just seeing just underneath him there, a bit of weight through the back of the knee there from Yates. I don't think there's any malice in that. It's that weight on that trailing leg that seems to have done the damage as he just slides down in that tackle, Yates. Let's hope he's okay.
So Ipape here, a key man for Leigh. Ben Thaler, the video ref, is having a look at what's going on. And there's going to be no foul play in here. I think Luke Yates was the giant involved.
No, there was no foul play whatsoever, Rod. He's making a tackle, and as Edwin Apape's momentum takes him through.
Elsewhere, a flying start for the Tigers against Hull FC. 12-0 Cass, and is an upset brewing. Kyle Amor falls off his seat in shock as the Leeds Rhinos take a 6-0 lead at Saints.
Yeah, not ideal opening start for St Helens at home.
It's an 80-minute game, Kyle.
Of course it is. And we'll see how they unfold as we get on. But Edwin Apape, thankfully, he's back to his feet.
Well, let's see how he shapes up. Can he run it off? It didn't look good initially, but it looks a lot better now for Leigh and their supporters, because there it is, Apape again, directing the traffic. Here's the kick from Lamb, left foot in, deep, too deep. That's the last couple of Leigh kicks that have gone wrong.
Yeah, Lamb and
one from Moylan, one from Lachlan Lamb.
Yeah, you did right. They just put too much weight, but there's a shot from Apape, and that's how important he is. Yes, Brad Dwyer has a running game, but he doesn't have that steely defensiveness about him. It's an error here as well. And Tui Lolohea is furious with the referee. There's a bit of afters in there too. Pushing and shoving.
Yeah. Lolohea felt there was an infringement. Apape wasn't interested.
Yeah, it was beautiful contact from the Papua New Guinean initially.
Back we come, boys.
So a turnover here, and trouble for Huddersfield. Owen Trout, Amon, wow. They're intent on making a statement after knocking the ball on here. They didn't like the decision, and they're showing you just how much they disliked it.
Yeah, Sam Hewitt coming on a big shot there for Tom Amon. He rides it well.
That's Trout again, going into 3 Huddersfield tacklers. Apape is at dummy half. Lachlan Lamb in your picture on the left-hand side of the play the ball. Apape goes right. It's taken on by Hughes. Apape again. Amon waits close to us.
Move together.
Look at the shape here, Rod, on this left edge. The 5 out.
They're moving to the left again. Oh, it's a knock-on. Jack Hughes it was.
Jack Hughes there, probably guilty about thinking about passing the ball before collecting it. A whole amount of shape set up outside of them, and it looked threatening, but it comes to nothing. Huddersfield Giants breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah, the catch is a bit of a sloppy one.
Well, a word here with the captains. Lachlan Lamb wearing 7 for Leigh, and it's going to be Luke Yates.
A number of players coming up to me questioning decisions. I'm happy to speak to you at the right times. It stops now. Hey, I talk to you guys with respect. I expect the same back from your players. Scrum, have a word. Thank you, boys.
Well, James Vella has made it quite clear. He's heard enough. And the warning is clear that any more back chat will be penalised. And the constant chirping is certainly not what he wants to hear. Anyway, it's a Huddersfield scrum. Central position, 20 metres from their own line here. Lolohea feeds. Picked up at the base of the scrum. And now Cudjoe. Cudjoe has nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. Knocked down by 3 Leigh Leopards.
Well, brilliant work from Kyle O'Donnell out of the scrum. He's here again at mark. It's a big shot on for Trout as well. And there's a ball spilled out here. Penalty given away again, Rod. That's 2 now in yardage for Leigh Leopards. And they're just letting them off the hook, the home team. An opportunity to build and create pressure and almost squeeze the life out of them.
Well, over time and over all the data, we know that home advantage in the Super League is worth about 4 points. But it hasn't been worth anything at all to Huddersfield Giants this season. They've played 4, lost 4 at home in the Super League. They've lost to Saints, Hull KR, Salford and Wigan. But they did annihilate Hull at home in the Challenge Cup. So they haven't won at home all year in the Super League. They're the only team with a winless home record in the Super League in 2024. It can't last forever, can it? But at the moment, they're down again. Deacon. Dropped off Cudjoe comes forward and he gets 10 metres inside enemy territory. Deacon again. There's Russell. Russell, is that too long or is it just right? It's Moylan. Moylan is dragged back by Lollahea, and Lollahea takes Moylan over the try line and wins the goal line dropout for the Giants. Good play.
Yeah, obviously a bit of a pre-planned move. We've saw a number of times the Giants have elected for that inside ball, and it's paid a bit of dividends for them. But it was this time the kick over the top to Lollahea, sensing that no one was at home. But once again, the half-back Matt Moylan sweeping around the back and making sure that nothing's there. Brilliant work from him, Matt Moylan. He's been fantastic the last couple of weeks and ever present in all 12 league and cup games for the Leopards since joining from Cronulla Sharks.
Yeah, a man that's played almost 200 times in the NRL. That's experience, that's know-how, and he's shown it tonight. And we're seeing some real meaty, muscly tackling from Ipape. In fact, ever since the injury, he's been like a firecracker.
Yeah, Elliot Wallace there, skirting across the line. He first gets whacked by Amon, and then Ipape for good measure. And
it's another penalty.
Tackle. Yeah, another penalty.
Oh, no, Tom Deacon took it too quickly, and I think maybe James Vella might have done Huddersfield a good turn there, because he was heading for heavy traffic, and now they can just slow it down, kick for touch, reset and put the planned moves on, 25 metres from the Leigh line. I think they're better off with the kick to touch than they were with the quick tap penalty from Deacon.
Icky Hayford carrying the ball there. He's been impressive this season, the 33-year-old.
Well, James Vella came over all Robert De Niro there with a "you talking to me." Russell drop off. Oh, can he get there? He can't get there.
Tackle.
I thought Murchie was going to get there, but he couldn't. Or was it Hewitt? Russell again, shaped to kick, but then passed. Dropped off here to Yates. Luke Yates. He's trying to squirm out of tackles. He's got within 10 metres of the line. And now Deacon. Good spell this from the Huddersfield Giants as they look to level up the match. They're 6-0 down. Russell. And there, once more, is Sam Hewitt. He got close to the try line a moment or two ago. Isan Masters out the back door. Deacon kicks. Didn't look pre-planned, but has it come off? Oh, they managed to get it dead. Hanley. Yumila Hanley managed to shuttle it dead in the end. It looked as though it could squirm free from his gasp, and Handa tried to Huddersfield, but he had the presence of mind to mop up.
Yeah, Isan Masters there with a wonderful offload, and it ends up in the hands of young Tom Deacon on his second ever game.
Is it me, but ever since Zach Hardacre has moved to the centre, he's looking more and more like the Leeds legendary centre, Keith Senior. He does though, doesn't he?
From up here, Rod, yeah.
Good evening, Keith, if you're watching.
Well, I'm sure that he'll take that as a compliment.
He's probably watching the Leeds game, to be fair. And there is Big Sep Ikehefo. He takes some stopping. He swats off Leigh Leopards. 10 metres this inside the Leigh half of the field. Deacon, again, Russell has seen plenty of the football tonight, Ollie Russell, on his return to the halves. He's then there alongside Adam Clune, but it's Russell who's bossing things when Huddersfield have ball in hand. Here he is again, and there is Leroy Cudjoe. Leroy Cudjoe crabbing across the field. Masters more direct. Isan Masters, strong runner. One of the stars of a disappointing Huddersfield season, Cudjoe. Russell again. And Lollahea in the line here. And now it's Nagama back on the field after that HIA was passed. Kevin Nagama scampering sideways. Leroy Cudjoe again. Cudjoe looks to offload and he gets it away over the head again to Nagama. And there is Hardacre to stop the man close to the line. Deacon, is he offside? The tackler, he is offside. Little doubt in my mind. And I think that was a penalty they felt it was worth conceding, Kyle.
Yeah, probably had to as well. But the Leigh Leopards, look, let's credit Huddersfield's attack, but some scrambling defence, some desperate play from the Leopards.
Hang on, boys.
To deny Nagama after that wonderful offload from Cudjoe, but they've got another set here to defend.
Leigh feel that they saved 4 points with that desperate passage of play which culminated in conceding a penalty, but were they delaying the try for Huddersfield, or were they stopping it altogether? Now is Clune. Clune offloads. Russell has knocked on under pressure. The pressure came from Ed Chamberlain, and it's a penalty this time to Leigh. That's for back chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, brilliant tackle there from Ed Chamberlain. He had to come all the way in to shut that play down because Huddersfield Giants had numbers on the left edge, Rod.
Offside position.
But Leigh surviving 4 penalties in a row that they're giving away.
Time off. Come on, boys.
Adrian Lamb will be disappointed with that part of it, but what he will be delighted with is their ability to keep turning up for one another.
So Leigh conceded the penalty. They bet that it was right to concede the penalty, which would not just delay a Huddersfield try, but stop it altogether. And they put everything on black, and it came up. And Leigh in black here tonight lead by 6 points to 0. The try came from Josh Charnley early doors. It was converted by Moylan from the sideline, and Leigh have led since the 11th minute.
Well, since then it had been all the home team.
Yep.
And we've seen it so often. Momentum swings and ebbs and flows during games, and you just felt that that was the Giants' purple patch of the first half. As this ball looks through Lamb, short pass, O'Donnell there, met by Clune and Murchie.
Murchie's got his opposite number to the deck, but Ipape's here. And what's he going to conjure up here, the Papua New Guinea? Here's Lamb. Lamb moving from left to right. And that's shut down. Yeah, Huddersfield enjoyed early supremacy. Wallace failed to score when he had a good chance. Then Leigh scored, and Huddersfield again back on top, but they haven't scored. Is that a tip tackle? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, interestingly,
it's dangerous. Murchie, the offender, with Big Seb Ikahifo.
I wonder what they'll do here. The Leopards, will they take the 2? Or keep playing? It looks like they're going to take the 2.
Well, they have a 6-point advantage. Do they feel it's going to be a low-scoring game and they'll take a penalty? Oh, they do indeed, because Matt Moylan wants the kicking tee, and he's got it, the Australian.
I think it's a smart move, Rod. We mentioned that table at the start, and Leigh Leopards set on 7 points in that top 6. They need another 7 to break into that top 6, and 2 here tonight would be gold for them. Keeps their playoff dream alive. You just take the points when they're on offer, don't you?
Well, I would have thought so in a close situation, but many coaches now like to roll the dice and spin the roulette wheel looking for 6 rather than 2. And of course, you'll never really know until full time what was the right decision, and then we're all after timing. These players have got to make a decision now.
Rucks need to be cleaned up in foul play. I need to see a response and improvement. Great opportunity now. Have a word. Have a word. Thanks,
Luke. Well, conversation again with the 2
Luke
captains.
Yates and Lachlan Lamb must feel like they're back at school, because they've been lectured a couple of times by the headmaster, haven't they? Yeah. And it'll be detention for somebody pretty soon if they don't clean up their act. Moylan here, you'd expect him to knock this over in his sleep. Yeah, and just going back to that point about taking that goal, that kick 15 metres away. And what that does, Rod, is you imagine, you know, Leigh Leopards, if they were to lose here tonight, and the Huddersfield Giants would be 5 points ahead of them, given where we are in the season, almost, you know, starting to get towards the midpoint of the season. Matt Moylan strokes it through effortlessly. They can be missed from anywhere, but that one was nonchalant from the Australian standoff half. And Leigh now edged further in front, 8-0. And as Kyle has already alluded to, they're 9th on the league ladder, Huddersfield 8th. They can go within a point of the Giants if they win. If they win their 2nd away game of the season. They won at Hull, 54 points to 4, but they've lost away at St Salford, Wyre and Hull KR in the Challenge Cup. And with everything being so congested further up, there's a chance there as well to scalp a few of those top teams and climb that ladder even further. Well, it's very congested, and as I mentioned earlier, if you get on a real run, you can move up in leaps and bounds. And, you know, even, you know, Wigan, the champions, who I think most people think are the best team in the competition, aren't striding away. They're in a 4-way logjam at the top of the table. Here's another penalty as the patience of James Vella is tried once more, and it's a penalty to Leigh. You heard it, an extra push in the tackle. Leroy Cudjoe looking disgusted there. But it's not what you need, is it? You've just gone another 2 points behind. And you've got to be squeaky clean, Rod. You've got to have the right discipline. Well, clearly that the game isn't finished if Leigh score next, but you feel if Leigh score next, Huddersfield have got real problems. If it goes 14-0 before half-time, my word, they're in trouble.
They certainly are.
Especially given their current recent run, which is dismal at best. Nice dancing run from O'Donnell. Kai O'Donnell. Again, we see Edwin Ipape marshalling the troops. And that's Trout. Owen Trout. Ipape again. At what point will he switch back to the left-hand side, or will he keep going right? He does. Moylan. Is that high?
Well.
Is that high? It is high.
Well, they've gone penalty, 2 points, penalty, penalty, and the usual sequence off the back of that, Rod, is a try.
Right. Now, I'm sure they're going to run this, but would you just keep taking 2 every time it's on offer? Just keep nicking points? Or do you,
No,
when you get 8-0 up, the popular wisdom is that it's not significant to go to 10, but it is another 2, and I don't know if Huddersfield might score twice and get back to 10-8. Who knows?
It is, but it's a bit more of a difficult kick, and I just think that the away side will sense blood, an opportunity, like you said, Rod, to get that next try and almost really take the sting out of Huddersfield. Vela talking to Yates again.
As I said, in the ruck,
I think he's losing his patience, Rod.
Infringements by your players. It's too many.
I think
Ori Russell is going to the bin.
Ori Russell to the bin, and there is the detention I mentioned earlier. And short of giving him some lines to write on the sideline, he couldn't have made it much clearer, James Vela. He kept saying, right, this is a final warning. I've heard enough of the back chat. I've had enough of the silly penalties, and that's the end. Now they'll definitely run it. If there was any doubt before, there's no doubt now. And the Leopards now will fancy really rubbing it in.
Move!
That's Dan Norman. He's 12 metres from the Huddersfield line. Ipape coming left again. Charnley will be sniffing another try, no doubt. Oh, lovely ball. Here is Charnley. Josh Charnley cannot conjure a way through there. Too many Huddersfield Giants. Ricky Latelli. Lamb. Left to right ball. Ipape. And still they go left to right.
Yeah, it's great, though. They're just setting up centre field, Rod, and trying to take advantage of the 12-man Huddersfield line.
They're looking for the hole in the Huddersfield line. It's there somewhere for sure. Moylan, Matt Moylan steps through, half through anyway. Cudjoe and Masters combine. Leigh still in possession. The Leopards beginning to purr here at Huddersfield. They lead 8-0. They're looking for more. They're looking for a second try. Ipape, Edwin Ipape bounces his way through. Ipape scores. Sensational try. Great individual effort from Edwin Ipape. He bounced off challenges and bounced over the try line and touched down. Leigh 12-0.
Oh, well, it's shocking defence from the Giants. It really is. The ball looks like it's going to be shifted back to the left-hand side. And Edwin Ipape, he just catches it, steps hard off his left foot. And it's some weak, soft defence there from Tuilagi here. Cudjoe in there as well, I think. And he has a bit to do with Ipape. It's not a given that he scores. His strength gets him over the line.
His second Triple try of the season for Leigh. Ipape, he's Edwin's star.
Yeah, they just look like everybody with hips are heading out. Cudjoe gets beat on his inside shoulder. Masters comes across and he can't fix it. And Tuilagi here, he's just left with no answer for Edwin Ipape's strength.
Well, it's a try. If you've scored it, you feel it was sensational. If you've conceded, you think it was awful defence. That's the two-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, no, without doubt. You know, I mean, leaning more towards poor defence, and I'm sure Ian Watson would agree. Edwin Ipape, he just catches that ball. He's 10 metres away. Again, Leroy Cudjoe's hips are heading out. He's thinking about the next part instead of defending the immediate. Easton Masters doesn't work hard enough from market. You've got to be stronger on your try line. You really do, Rod.
Matt Moylan has not missed a kick tonight. He's kicked a conversion and he's kicked a penalty. Can he go 3 for 3 with the boot and stretch the Leopards' advantage to 14-0? They're in complete charge here. They're bossing this battle. You can't say it's done. It's not done, but they're in complete command. Moylan. And it's another 2 points to the tally. It's another 2 points to the Australian Matt Moylan. Leigh lead Huddersfield now by 14 points to zip.
They've hit a real bump in the road here at the John Smith Stadium. Edwin Apape just goes far too easy. Look, he's an incredible player with enormous strength, but it's too easy to score that try.
Well, now we've got 8 minutes to go before half-time here, and Huddersfield are leaking oil. They've got to get the car to the sanctuary of the pits at half-time and see what they can do from there, because, OK, if they go in 14-0, but anything worse than that, this is bad enough. And if it goes 20+,
you know,
then what?
The last 10 minutes there painted the whole picture. Really, the Leigh Leopards give away a number of penalties. Josh Charnley, he's met there by Wallace. Leigh Leopards give away a number of penalties, Rod, but they were able to defend it. They scrambled. It wasn't pretty at times, but they answered all the questions. The Huddersfield Giants, when it was their turn to give away consecutive penalties, well, they've lost 8 points.
Yeah, they just shipped in another try, a second try. So it's Apape and Charnley with the tries so far. High kick, this time collected by Lollahea. Lollahea jumps into the challenge. Flamboyant stuff from the fullback, but the fact is they're down by more than 2 scores here. A team, remember, that's lost their last 4 matches in League and Cup. Huddersfield Giants. There's a penalty, hands in the ruck, and penalised as such by James Vella.
Well, he certainly brought his whistle in the first half. I think we're up to double figures almost in terms of penalties now. Obviously, look, the players play their part in that.
Well, I'm sure James Vella would say, if you asked him, if the players don't play within the rules, don't blame me.
Well, true. Let the game flow a bit.
And, well, you talk about the whistle.
Well, he's even
Here's a bin. Chamberlain's off.
Or at least he's consistent, Rod.
Well, he is. Chamberlain goes. Before that, we saw Russell go for Huddersfield. 2 in the bin.
It's not really what you want to see, is it? I'm with you, Rod, absolutely. Play to the rules by all means.
I've been warning you. I needed to see a response.
There's an awful lot going on here.
Well,
come on.
Now it's 6 minutes left on the clock. This is a huge, huge set now for the home team. There's Lollahea. Oliver Wilson, fresh off the bench onto the field.
Right, now could be important moments here for Huddersfield. They've had pressure on the Leigh line. They've not converted it into points, any points. Jack Murchie. Well, coming in to lend some weight is Kevin Nagama. Tackle completed. Deacon finds Cudjoe. Cudjoe goes further wide. Here's Clune. Clune to Lollahea, to Isan Masters. Masters runs at Hardacre. And between them, the Leigh Leopards get Masters down. No easy task. Halsall to Tui Lollahea, who inked that new contract this week. That is Sam Ikehifo. They knock the big man down short of the 20-metre marker. Deacon goes left. Lollahea kicks, deflects, bounces around like a pinball. Collected by Moylan.
He's been everywhere, Matt Moylan. He just dives on that loose ball and once again just ends the threat of Huddersfield's attack. Tui Lollahea's kick ricochets, but his reaction first to dive on it and kill that play. As Trout rolls forward now, he crosses nearly to the 30.
And they managed to reel Trout in near his own 20-metre line. And now 5 Huddersfield Giants went into that tackle in the end. Latelli is the man with the ball in his hands. There's Apape, the last try scorer. Here's Charnley, the first try scorer. And Josh Charnley with those legs pumping up towards the halfway line. Another tackle by Leroy Cudjoe. Apape to Lachlan Lamb. Lamb puts the left boot to the ball. He's got distance there and no mistake. And slipping there is Elliot Wallace. Regains his feet. but not before three Leigh Leopards managed to close him down. One of them is Charnley, the man who's now got 301 tries. They used to be the Leigh Centurions, didn't they? Josh Charnley would be the Leigh Triple Centurion.
A decent kick chase as well from Leigh, just getting down there, doing a job on Nagama here through the middle of the field. And the Leopards just hoping that they can see this half out with that 14-0 lead.
Well, we're inside, well, virtually the last 3 minutes now of the first half here. And Huddersfield 14 adrift. They've got a lot of work to do in the second stanza here. Nagama is at acting half. There is Adam Clune. Clune finds Lola here, and Lola here is going to belt that into the Huddersfield night sky. It's well claimed by Hanley. He's been very safe over there. They've targeted him quite a lot with the high ball, but he's been very safe.
Yeah, he's answered all 3 of the high kicks that's been put on his head.
A man that scored 12 tries in his last 10 games in all competitions for Leigh. Phenomenal try return.
Yeah.
Makes even Charnley's look fairly ordinary.
In back to brace last time out as well against Salford.
Ricky Latelli refuses to go down. Still going. In the end, has to succumb to the tackle from Cudjoe. Here's Moylan again. Has an excellent first half. Zach Hardacre back at fullback tonight. Zach back to being Zach at the back. He's over the halfway line. And again, it's Matty Moylan.
That's a good carry there from Frankie Holton.
Frankie Holton takes it forward, and it is a good carry. Still going. He's made great ground. He's 30 metres away from the try line. Ipape kicks this time. And that's collected by the sweeping Tui Lola here. Tongan International is tackled by Ipape. Here's Wallace looking for work. No space in which to operate. Did he get a bang on the head there?
Again, good work there from marker Dan Norman. Just not allowing Huddersfield to pinch meters. And Murchie, again, O'Donnell and Lamb all in there.
Oh, and now Murchie pulls up lame. Deakin finds Adam Clune, and Clune with running room, offloads, hit late. Clune was hit late. The kick came from Lola here, but the hit on Clune is going to be the key factor here. Now, what will happen here? What's the sanction?
Rod, I think he went into that with that much force that if he's got this wrong, he could be in big, big trouble here. It was Frankie Holton on Clune there. And he hits him with an awful amount of force. My initial reaction was it was on the pass, so that might save him. Yeah, I think that's going to be difficult. He has to make that tackle and go in there. It's a question around the arms, maybe.
Well, the video referee, Ben Thaler, is looking at this.
Well, I'm not too sure what more he could do.
Well, this is going to be trouble here. There's going to be another yellow card coming out here, and it is Frankie Holton, as identified by Carl Amor previously.
Yeah.
They've already had Chamberlain put in the bin. Huddersfield had lost Russell for 10 minutes.
You turn to him, and there's no genuine attempt to tackle. And there's force, late with force, mate, it's a sin bin.
No.
So Frankie Holton is in the sin bin.
Well, we saw a number of cards in round one when these two met.
Right, now, let's just do a head count here, Carl, because Huddersfield have got 13 on the paddock here because Russell's back on. Leigh is still without Chamberlain, they're now without Holton. So, by my reckoning, it's now 13 versus 11 for the last few seconds of the half.
Yeah.
Can they make this pay?
40 seconds left on the clock, Rod.
There's a two-player advantage. The doctor's on the pitch. The doctor's on the pitch for Clune.
I think it's Jack Murchie that.
Well, he's going to call a halt here. But Adam Clune is being helped off, and that's a worrying sight.
Yeah, it's Jack Murchie, Rod, when he pulled up from that play of the ball moments earlier, leaving the field.
Right, well, we'll keep an eye on Adam Clune. That's bad news, not just for tonight, but maybe for subsequent matches for Huddersfield. but they are here on the attack with seconds remaining at the end of this half. Deacon to Cudjoe to Russell, back on the field after the sin binning, collected in the air nicely by Halsall. Sam Halsall. Seconds left, 10 seconds left. Lola here. It's going to have to be quick.
Oh.
It's been knocked on. It's been knocked on. Been knocked on. That'll be the last play of the half. And Huddersfield, with some panic football at the end of the half, couldn't make that pay. They've got a 2-man advantage at the moment, but they've got a 14-point deficit. A 14-point deficit on the scoreboard here, Huddersfield. So a half-time where Leigh have been too hot near the line. Tries from Josh Charnley and Edwin Ipape, and goals from Matt Moreland. So Leigh in complete command at half-time in this battle at the John Smith Stadium. And so Leigh lead
At the start of the game, if I'm honest, I just felt that Leigh were riding a wave at the moment, and Huddersfield, well, they just look a little bit lost, don't they?
So what you're saying is you didn't fancy them one iota at the start of the match, and you fancy them even less now, if that's possible.
Well, look, a 14-0 deficit would be hugely impressive if they could manage to get over this, but they're going to have to show an awful lot more, because Leigh, you just feel that they've got another gear in them, and for Huddersfield, I'm just struggling. You know, that last try from Ipape.
Knock on here.
Well, that is better.
Hope for Huddersfield. The ball has been spilled right at the first tackle of the half. It's Dan Norman who's coughed it up.
Well, please, Ian Watson. That reaction from there. They've got a scrum.
They've had chances. They've had possession and field position near the Leigh line. But in any sport, and especially in rugby league, if you don't score when you're on top, you get punished. You don't win rugby league matches. They've got a 2-man advantage here. Clune back on the field. Lolohea with the ball in his hands. Lolohea steps inside, but eventually is knocked down. Kai O'Donnell had a hand in there. Deacon, Cudjoe, and Ollie Wilson it was taking it in there. Now Deacon, Ikehifo's on the dummy run. This is going to be half a chance. It's going to be a try. Sam Hewitt has got the ball over the line, but did he ground it? I think this is going to be a video referee decision.
I have a try. Confirm grounding, please.
James Vella has given a try, but this is a job for Ben Thaler, video referee.
Thank you. We have a live call on field of a try. We're just going to go to the grounding here and check that the ball is grounded cleanly. So we've got the ball in hand. Still got the ball. We need to go nice and slow on this to ensure he keeps in control of the ball. And if we just go back on that, you can clearly see his hand is on the ball. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Ben Thaler, I think, has concluded that Sam Hewitt has got his second try of the season. He missed the Challenge Cup defeat. He's back tonight, and he's got Huddersfield back in the game. You talk about the perfect start to a half of rugby league. Huddersfield have just made it. The ball was coughed up by Leigh straight away, and then Huddersfield, with their 2-man advantage, got Sam Hewitt into some space, and he was strong enough to get over the line and get it down.
Well, there's a disconnect, isn't there, from Jack Hughes and Zach Hardaker. Zach Hardaker's up ahead of the line. Hughes he's sort of backing off, and he's not strong enough to make that tackle on Sam Hewitt. But that said, there was 2 extra numbers out there, so that right edge could almost be forgiven due to the fact that it's 13 v 11. When you talk about the perfect start for Huddersfield, but, you know, if I have to be honest, it's a shocking start from Leigh. Dan Norman spilling the ball there. That's everything not to do, and Huddersfield are unable to convert.
Well, when you're 14 behind, you've really got to start turning 4s into 6s. And Ollie Russell wasn't able to do so. He's on kicking duties tonight. It might have been Jake Connor if he was playing. They had a choice, I think, therefore, between Lollahea and Russell. They've gone with Russell. He had 11 from 16 goals to attempts before tonight, and he's missed that one. And the man in your shot, Matt Moylan, has kicked 3 for 3, and I wonder how significant the goal kicking may be. It's 2 tries to 1 to Leigh, but they still have an advantage of 10 points. Ian Watson, watching on, maybe feeling a little better now, the Huddersfield Giants coach.
Well, they've got 2.5 minutes. Can they pull the trigger again? And take advantage of those 2 cards in the bin?
Hands out! Jack, you got to hold it with me, wait!
Lollahea, are we watching the game right here? Huddersfield, if they can turn this numerical advantage into more points, they're back in it. If they can't, it's Leigh's 2 points away on the road, safe in the pocket of Adrian Lamb and his Leigh Leopards. There's Lachlan Lamb involved in the tackle. Well, no penalty and no 6 again, but play on is the cry, Lollahea. And that's Kevin Nagama. Nagama goes to ground. He's 20 metres out by the red stripe. Lollahea finds Cudjoe. Cudjoe coming from right to left. Good handling here from Huddersfield. Adam Clune. Masters. Esan Masters. Can he score? He's over the line. I know he's going to get it down there. Wrestle to ground. It'll be a hold up and a handover on the final tackle.
Oh, that's terrific defence there from Leigh. 4 players all over Esan Masters, making sure that he doesn't put that ball down and being a costly opening 3-4 minutes for Leigh Leopards. Masters gets rid of Hardacre, Moylan there too, but Trout, Hardacre, and they're all in there.
One of the big revolutions in stats for football recently has been expected goals, and I think it's a penalty here to Leigh. If we had expected tries here tonight, Huddersfield may have more than the one they've got, because they've had plenty of pressure and they haven't turned it into points.
Yeah, well, we saw Ed Chamberlain coming up with 2 quality efforts. One was a far read jamming, I think it was Ollie Russell, but the other one, that short pass, I think it was Halsor again in the first half. Absolutely, Rod. Can you imagine the Huddersfield Giants on another day could have had potentially another 2 tries with that one there from Masters, but they give away the penalty.
Come on, boys, let's go.
The 5th of the evening.
Hanley restarts. Leigh, I think, now with just 1 in the bin now, because Chamberlain's back out there. Holton isn't, so it's 13 versus 12 now, so the advantage for Huddersfield in terms of players on the paddock has been reduced. They did get 1 try back, 4 points from the try right at the start of this half from Sam Hewitt. Lachlan Lamb, little drop-off pass. And Leigh on the attack, having been stung into action by the Huddersfield try. If Pape was involved once more, we've seen a lot of him tonight.
Owen Trout there just moving the ball between his forwards on the last couple of plays.
Pape and Lamb, Lachlan Lamb dancing away from challenges. Here's Hardacre, Zach Hardacre, close to the line. He's not over the line. Pape, what will he conjure up here? Will he go himself? He kicks. It's collected by the man who just scored the try, Sam Hewitt. So,
well, look when they turned the ball over, Rod, 30 centimetres, sorry, from their own line, and get away with that. The crowd thought it was a high tackle, putting Vella under pressure again. But 3 plays gone, 10 metres made, Rod.
And this has been a feature of Leigh's performance tonight. The monstrous tackling, trying to pin Huddersfield inside their own red zone when they're coming away from their own line. It's been ferocious from Leigh, it really has. This is good though, Lollahea.
Tackle, Dan Norman there on the inside. It's Owen Trout rather.
Here's the kick, comes from Russell. It's deep, it's very deep, it's well collected. Moylan's there, he drops it off.
Well, we saw a similar defensive set from Leigh Leopards in the first half, and the net result was a try on the next set. Are we about to see it again?
Jemila Hanley brought the ball forward again. Moylan is involved once more. He's had a tremendous evening here in West Yorkshire. He's had to change position tonight. Ben McNamara's hamstring injury meant Moylan switched to stand off, but he's certainly familiar with that role, no question about that.
It's a good carry from Jack Hughes, crosses, gains on his side, 20 more metres up the field. 40 metres away, 30 rather. Norman onto Trout, chipping the ball again to Lamb.
And Lamb will go further left to Moylan, and Moylan finds Ricky Latelli. Latelli couldn't offload to Josh Charnley, who was waiting, the man who got the opening try of the night. Charnley spins it into the hands of Lachlan Lamb. Ipape. And on it goes from Leigh to Norman. Phil, we've been thinking this a lot, but the next try crucial, and it could come here. Kicked on, Ipape comes in to put his boot to ball. Some brave defending from Sam Holsall. That was brave. He went down there, putting his body on the line. And again, gang tackling by Leigh. Ferocious tackling by Leigh. As the Leopards get their claws into the Giants to Isan Masters. Cudjoe again. Ikahifo.
That's a good
Can he
shot.
offload there? It would be a risk at that area of the field. He chose not to. Thought better off it. Cudjoe. Leroy Cudjoe. Knocked down by Ipape with some help from Dan Norman. And the kick from right inside their own half, halfway inside their own half. Oh, and Moylan again sweeps up beautifully. Collects close to the touchline. Twinkle toes from the Australian. There goes Moylan. Matt Moylan up to halfway. Threatened to make a clean break. In the end, he was wrapped up close to the halfway line. Josh Charnley charges into 3 Huddersfield Giants, and they take him to ground. But Leigh have responded well to the concession of that try. Ipape. And Trout once more. Owen Trout. Does well against his old club here tonight. A number of Leigh players playing against their old club. Lamb. Latelli and Moylan again. Moylan with a right-handed pass this time. And here come Leigh once more. On the front foot, the Leigh Leopards. Ed Chamberlain it was. He spent time in the sin bin. He's back on the field. Ipape chips to the goal line beyond. It's too long. It's far too long. And it's a 7-tackle set. It's a free tackle here and a free 20 metres.
And it's 13 on 13 now. Frankie Holden returns from the bin. Well, the last couple of sets, it looks like just Leigh Leopards had all the energy, Rod.
Well, that's another dangerous tackle. It comes from Ipape. Hughes was involved as well, but it'll be another penalty here. And no further sanction, I think, just the penalty.
No arguing with that as well. Ipape is whacked Wallace. Lifts the leg above the horizontal. Tuilola here kicks down. And they'll start the play 40 metres away from Leigh's line.
Nagama restarts the match. Chris Hill pumping his legs, driving forward, 30 metres away from the try line. If they can score next, Huddersfield, they'll be back within 1 score. They're 10 adrift at the moment.
And the big guns are back out there, Hill and Yates, just trying to stiffen up that middle of the field.
That was Yates, this is Deakin, that's Russell, that's Lolohea. Lolohea finds Kevin Nagama. Nagama with no space to operate in whatsoever. Tackles disappearing, 2 more left in the sequence. Lolohea and Yates fancies a run. And taken down 10 metres out. Lolohea, can he pull the strings? Nagama, but it's going to be a penalty. It's an obstruction, it's an obstruction, it's a shepherd. It looked too good to be true, and it was, Carl, wasn't it?
No, it just seemed to open up far too easily. But there was obstruction there. And Nagama, he just almost takes his foot off the gas as he goes through. There's Lachlan Lamb who's been taken out. And you mentioned it earlier. Tries created. Maybe there's another one.
They've had chances, they haven't taken them. They've butchered many of them. And Leigh, with some chances, have taken most of them. Charnley and Ipape, the 2 try scorers that are making the difference here, and the boot of Matt Moylan, I should add here. That was the powerhouse prop Tom Amone involved. And Leigh now can afford to play and are playing a conservative game plan. There's no need to be anything flash or flamboyant from Adrian Lamb's team here. They've got a 10-point advantage and time ticking down. We're inside the final half an hour now. Hughes, Lachlan Lamb, that's a good ball. That's a good tackle, mind you, by Adam Clune, who we saw badly injured in the first half, but back out there. Lamb's left foot. Good take. Oh, yeah. Was it taken in the air? Yes, it was, and it's a penalty. Contact in the air given. Tui Lolohea. And I think that was some pretty smart play from Tui Lolohea there. Yeah. He felt the contact and made sure the referee knew about it.
Well, he felt the chase as well from Ricky Latelli. He just climbs high and almost just accepts that he's got to fall into him. And just that little knock there just before both feet hit one of his feet hit the ground. And it is a penalty.
Yeah, that was cute from Lolohea.
Ash Golding onto the field.
Yeah, that's
now.
Ash Golding, the former Leeds Rhino. Back in those days, he was a fullback. He's now a off-the-bench hooker.
Well, when Huddersfield Giants won in round one over at the Leigh Sports Village, it was his introduction, Rod, that proved the difference. He came up with a couple of try assists in there and turned the game on its head.
Clune has found Lolohea, who's in the line again. And now Isan Masters, always the danger man, always the go-to guy for Huddersfield. Holsall's in at dummy half. Lolohea having an increasing influence here on this Rugby League match, this Super League contest at the John Smith Stadium. Ash Golding's in there now. Spins it out. The kick comes. Right to the goal line. That's a good take.
And again, he's answered another kick. Umila Hanley, they've targeted him all evening, and he's came up trumps every single time. And I know we mentioned it in the first half, Rod, but with 25 minutes on the clock, you do get the sense that the next try is absolutely huge in terms of the result of this contest.
Leigh have not put this match to bed yet, and Huddersfield are not out of it yet. A team without a win at home in the Super League. If they don't turn this around, it will be played 5 here at the John Smiths, lost 5 in the Super League. They did win a cup tie against Hull. Well, that's a kick from pretty close to their own line, really. Which way will it bounce? It's going everywhere. Never let this Rugby League football bounce. Holsall gets it back inside, and Lolohea has the ball in his hands. Squirms almost out of the tackle, but cannot escape Ed Chamberlain, who wrestles him to the ground. Adam Clune's in there.
He's had a decent game tonight, Ed Chamberlain. Of course, he's been on a couple of games over at Hull FC on loan. Got himself back into this team. And he's showing up well tonight.
Yeah, came into the side as part of the reshuffle after the Ben McNamara hamstring injury. Hardacre dropped to fullback, and the spot in the centre is taken by Ed Chamberlain, and he has played well tonight. And Ash Golding again in at hooker. It was Tom Deacon who started in the number 9 role. Lolohea playing at fullback, signed a contract extension at Huddersfield this week. Golding again, a loose pass. Picked up by Masters on the bounce. Isan Masters steps inside. Offloads to Wilson. It is the last, and it's been thrown around like the proverbial hot potato, and it's been knocked on. The potato hits the deck.
Yeah, just needed someone to kick the ball, put it in the corner, and then go after them defensively. I understand trying to play hot potato, chasing points, but the scoreboard pressure with 24 minutes, I don't think it's heavy enough at that moment. Put the ball into the corner. Roll your sleeves up, do the tough stuff.
Yeah, this isn't the time for reckless gambling, is it? It's too early, 24 minutes left. This is not the time for throwing blindfold at the bullseye. The game can be constructed from here. You think they're only 2 scores behind. They're not 5 scores behind with 5 minutes left, but that had an element of panic to it.
Exactly.
Move together!
That's Zach Hardacre on the floor. Seems that this will be his last season at Leigh. Oh, knocked on by Big Tom Amone. I think he felt it had gone through his hands, but it's been penalised as a knock-on.
It was a scruffy pass. I don't think anybody of those 3 middles knew exactly who the ball was for. And it might have been Brad Dwyer's first touch of the evening. You just see the pass there, just in no man's land. Hughes and Lamb and Amone all looking around thinking, who was that for?
Nice well done. Heads down.
I was going to ask you, is there a touch of fatigue creeping in? But there can't be with Dwyer yet. Can they? He's on the bench.
No, I mean,
He's only played a few minutes.
Without sounding like Roy Keane, Rod, that's his job. You know, he has to be able to find that pass, especially when he's just came on.
Chris Hill, he will relish the work load and put the work rate in. He's been all over the league, Chris Hill. 36 years old now, Big Chris. 3 times in the dream team. Golding dances away from 2 tackles and still on his feet here, Ash Golding.
There was a 6 again called the play earlier there, Rod.
Yeah. And so that gives Huddersfield every opportunity. And again, Chris Hill being used as a battering ram and still going here, Chris Hill. There was more to that than just a battering ram. As Carl said, there was some neat footwork there. That's Russell. That is Adam Clune. Where's he going? Round in circles. Now finds a man on his right-hand side. Half a chance for Harry Rushton, but he couldn't find his way to the try line. Golding. Are they about to get their second try and get right back in this Rugby League match? Oh, what a good pass that is. Masters. Halsall. Sam Halsall. Knocked down by Chamberlain.
Again, Chamberlain with a huge play defensively.
Masters again with a huge pass. Lolohea. A much shorter ball inside here this time from Tui Lolohea. Ollie Wilson breaks free of the tackle to play the ball to Golding. Ash Golding going for the line himself. Ash Golding over the line but held up. Over the line but held up on the last tackle, I think.
Yeah, they've got one more.
One more, yeah. That was the 4th, not the 5th.
Well, Ash Golding just sees the space and just tries to bury his head. But it is, sorry, Rod, it was on the 5th. It's a turnover. Terrific again from the Leopards. I've mentioned a number of times their ability to cover, even when they look like they're stretched. They've been finding a way this evening. The only time that their line has been breached, of course, was that early error when there was 13 playing 11 and the numerical advantage was just far too heavy. But other than that, Rod, they've defended so well together.
Yeah, I think that's right. And that's been the difference, hasn't it? Leigh have defended Huddersfield's threats much better than Huddersfield have defended Leigh's, haven't they?
I'd have to agree.
And that's the difference at the moment. This is Brad Dwyer trying to make a difference. And Huddersfield have got a chance to arm a bit, perhaps not to the extent we've seen with some wild passing. Whereas Leigh now, I think we'll see a lot of that, trying to pin Huddersfield back. Tui Lolohea with the goose stepping run.
And I think that's a smart move, an early kick on tackle 4. Just trying to disrupt any sort of momentum that Huddersfield think that they can have. Turns all their middles around. Look, there's 2 players gone and they're not even back there now. They've just got back behind the ball.
Adrian Lamb, who finished top of the pile as coach at Wigan, very much known for his tactical acumen.
That's another penalty given away.
Another penalty, and this could put them on the back foot here because Clune is going to bury that in the corner. And Huddersfield will launch another assault on the Leigh line.
I was just going to say there, Rod, you know, Huddersfield have shown up much better in this second half. You know, I writ them off at the start of the 40, and how wrong was I?
Well, you might yet still be right, to be fair.
But they've certainly shown up here. An inside ball back for Chris Hill.
And Chris Hill's made a difference, hasn't he? He really
always does.
He has charged onto the ball. He's charged into the challenges. He's taken a bang there, Chris Hill, I think. Ash Golding checking whether the veteran prop is okay, and Chris Hill very slow to his feet. He's like a weary boxer. So he'll take some medical attention. He'll take a breather here, the former Warrington prop, former Huddersfield prop.
There's 19 minutes to go in this contest. They've got a beautiful opportunity here. You're wondering there, I'm just watching those pictures back, what it is that hurt Chris Hill, but he looks okay.
Yeah, the Huddersfield prop with over 300 Super League appearances.
Just while he's getting some treatment here, you look at what's down the road ahead. Huddersfield Giant have another home game here to Hull FC. They'll fancy that one. but they won't be thinking anything else other than getting over this line twice more inside this closing quarter of the game.
Yates trying to step his way through. Golding pulling the strings here, and Leigh's defence holding firm. Has been pretty much watertight apart from there had 11 players on the field. Here's Masters though trying to break the line. Isan Masters, that's a try. He's got it all right. Isan Masters is the master. He's over the line. It's his 5th try of the season, but this will be another for Ben Thaler to confirm. Looks a try to me, but who cares what I think? What does Ben Thaler think?
And then confirm grounding if it's okay.
So first of all, we're checking for obstruction, and we can clearly see that everything on this is fine up to press. We do have a lead runner. It's caught on the other side of him, so that's not obstruction. Right, hold on. That doesn't mean, it means he's got to find space. So let's look at this again. Does 12 of Huddersfield find space? And if you look at that, clearly you see there, he doesn't find space. He makes contact flush with the Leigh player, who then doesn't get across. Thank you.
Well, as I said, who cares what I think? What does Ben Thaler think? And what he thinks is that Sam Hewitt has committed an obstruction. And this is going to be chalked off. The Masters try, he hasn't got his 5th try of the season, and Leigh still have a 10-point lead.
It's another chance created, Rod, but you're right, it's Sam Hewitt, and again it's Ed Chamberlain's, but inadvertently affecting the result of that change in line, that ability not to find space through the defensive line and colliding with Ed Chambers there. We saw Isan Masters get rid of Zach Hardaker, and where Chamberlain could have and should have been in the picture, he was impeded by the back rower, the try scorer for the Giants in Sam Hewitt. It's just meant that they come away still chasing this game by 10 points, Rod.
Well, that was 4 that they didn't get, and it might have been 6, of course. It could have been 8-14 or 10-14. It's not. It's 4-14. Leigh with the advantage by 10 points. Tom Amone charging in.
Well, Leigh were quality in the first half in terms of a completion rate, completing at 90%. But they've came up with a couple of errors and a couple of penalties that's allowed Huddersfield to attack their line much more in this second half. As Chamberlain drops off Hardaker, he looks through the middle of the field, met by Golding, Hill.
Yeah, Hardaker made some progress, not much, and Brad Dwyer now buzzing around at dummy half. Tom Amone in his last season at Leigh. There's Lamb, there's Moylan, there's Ricky Latelli. Latelli is knocked down. Ricky Latelli, once of the Toronto Wolfpack, now very much of the Leigh Leopards. Matt Moylan. Moylan's kick is
kick pressure.
Wayward.
Yeah, it was kick pressure there from the Garment. And that ability to get out from marker, put pressure on Moylan, just doesn't allow him to put that kick exactly where he wants. It's a rush kick, and it's a turnover 30 metres away.
And just shows if you do put the pressure on, even a great kick, Moylan can shank the ball. And that was a snap hook into the stand over the far side of the field.
It's all effort-based areas, that. Kick pressure, diving on loose balls.
Well, they've been better in the second half, Huddersfield. There's no question about that. But at the moment, all they've got to show for it is the 1 try. And that came from Sam Hewitt, and that got them back to within 10, but that's as close as they've got, and Leigh have still got them at arm's length here. Ash Golding, another 6 tackles here for the Huddersfield Giants. Chris Hill making the meters. He's become a meter eater since he's come on. Clune. And that is Isan Masters, just denied a try by the video referee. Masters is tackled by Tom Amone. Tui Lolohea. Lolohea comes away from the play the ball. It's knocked on, it's dropped.
Beautiful shot there from Ricky Latelli.
Dropped by Rushton.
It's all on in back play here, Ron.
Yeah, it is on in back play. And everyone's involved now, and James Feller has got his work cut out here. I'm sure Ben Thaler, the video referee, is scrutinising this. Well, we may see cards or penalties from this. Let's see.
Well, we've seen plenty of them in the opening 64 minutes. Can you imagine there has to be an outcome here? And Ricky Latelli's shot on Rushton was a brilliant one. And it causes a huge melee. And everybody comes flying in. And you're right, Rod Vettel. I'll have a look at this with some influence from the video referee, no doubt about that.
I'm going to deal with it. Just go back there, please.
Lachlan Lamb in conversation with James Vella.
I think they're looking at here and Lachlan Lamb, Rod. I think it was the reaction of Lola here that causes it all off.
Well, it's Ben Thaler in the role of Hercule Poirot trying to work out what on earth happened there.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, got it, mate. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. Captains out here, please. Captains.
Well, the verdict appears to be that there's been a lot of pushing and shoving going on, but not a whole lot more than that.
So we've got two players that were close to each other, then Tuilola here pulls Lachlan into the ground. That's what starts that melee. Okay, what we've got, no, just listen. You're here to listen. What we then have is players running in, taking matters into their own hands. Guys, let me be clear. I've already had players in the bin, and I will not be afraid to put more there if players want to take matters into their own hands. It's a penalty against what Tui does. He starts that. Clean it up. Have a word now. You have a moment. Have a word.
Well, James Vella reckons that the main antagonist was Tui Lolohea.
That was the shot from Latelli. And yeah, he's absolutely right. Tui Lolohea there just takes the law into his own hands and throws Lachlan Lamb to the floor.
Discipline now is very important.
Well, at this stage in the game, there are 15 minutes left. And for Huddersfield to just allow Leigh to buy cheap real estate is very costly, because Lamb is going to knock that into touch on the far side, and that allows Leigh to gallop up the field. They're well away from their own line. They've got a full set here, and they can run 45 seconds off the clock and possibly just knock it into touch and start chewing up more time.
I just think a sign of frustration, really, that shot from Latelli dislodging the ball. Tuilola here just looked frustrated on that. Throws Lamb to the floor.
We hear that Robbie Mulhern won't be coming back. He's injured and out of action for the rest of the night, and that will be a blow to Leigh, because he and Amon have done a lot of hard yards.
Well, Robbie Mulhern's been exceptional in the absence of Tom Amon, and John Asiati's took that mantle forward himself.
That's Amon there, and that is Lamb. Lamb with the left foot kick. Moylan is chasing it. Moylan chases Lolohea, mops up at the back.
Yeah, beautiful kick there, both halves combining. Good understanding developing between Lamb and Matt Moylan. I think Matt Moylan's been fantastic again this evening. Both with and without the ball. Just chasing hard there. Tuilola here taking no chances whatsoever.
Yeah, and Moylan's successful goal kicking has given Leigh more breathing space, hasn't it?
Yeah.
With the missed kick too at the other end from Ollie Russell. So Moylan 6 with a boot, Huddersfield 0, and that 6 points makes a big difference at this moment in time. If Pape is there, as a penalty,
you'd imagine two
high
more.
tackle here, and a 2-point play here, which will make 16-4 and take a minute off the clock. So it's a double play for Leigh and Matt Moylan here.
Well, it would make it a 12-point lead, wouldn't it? And Matt Moylan straight away just telling the referee that's what he's going to do. He's 25 metres out, straight in front of the black dot. And again, I've been like a broken record this evening, Rob, but it's been discipline. It's been discipline from both sides, really, but one side has had enough steel about them to defend those penalties than the other. And Huddersfield, every single time it seems like they've given a penalty away, it's resulted in points on the board against them.
There'll be no hurry here for Matt Moylan. He'll make sure that the ball is pointed at precisely the right number of degrees, the right angle. He'll check the maker's name is in the right place here and eat up more of the clock. And he hopes, from his point of view, add another 2 points to the Leigh Leopards tally. If successful, it'll be 16-4. It'll be a 12-point ball game, 2 scores clear, and make it almost, well, not impossible, but very unlikely that Huddersfield can win the game in the 80-minute regulation.
Yeah.
They need 2 converted tries to take the game to golden point extra time. So Matt Moylan, the former Cronulla Shark, already with 6 points from successful goal kicks, makes it 8 and makes the tally Leigh 16, Huddersfield 4.
Yeah, that 12-point lead inside of, well, there's 12 minutes left on the clock as well. You just get a sense as this part of the season, particularly for Adrian Lam as he looks on. An away win here, and then 2 away games with that Challenge Cup final splitting in between.
They've got a run. They're in a run of 5 away games because reseeding, refitting of the Leigh pitch, which they timed when the Challenge Cup semis and final were on, and then agreed with the fixture makers to run a stretch when they would have a lot of away games. So it's a tough run, isn't it?
It is. But, you know, Hull KR in Catalan away in the next 2 up.
Exactly.
But if they can win 3 out of those 5, it puts them in an incredible position to charge and close down that playoffs. And, you know, in contrast, Huddersfield Giants, well, they've got Hull FC next week. They'll fancy that. But then after that, it's Hull KR away, Catalan and Warrington all in there. It'll be a difficult month ahead.
Yeah, the force has not been with Huddersfield in May. That's a kick straight down the throat of Wallace, who had that chance very early on in the piece, inside the 4th minute, when he couldn't handle the ball near the line and dropped it. But there is a penalty coming Huddersfield's way here.
Hands in the ruck again. Here with a huge kick. Has it found Dutch? It hasn't.
Big blunder, big mistake. Josh Charnley winds up, smashes his way close to the halfway line. Known for his flashy finishing, but not afraid of the hard work.
Well, if there was a chance, a glimmer of hope for Huddersfield Giants there, well, it's gone.
That was a bad mistake.
That was a huge mistake. We've gone for distance. Came up with nothing. Tom Amon just keeps backpedaling into those defenders. Gets an offload.
What an offload that is to Brad Dwyer. Dwyer picks himself off the deck, and Cudjoe puts him back down on it. This is Frankie Holton. He was in the sin bin, remember, in the first half and beginning of the second. And while he was cooling his heels, Huddersfield scored their try. Sam Hewitt got it. Ipape, who scored in the first half himself. Dwyer is in there. They've got 2 hookers on the field at this moment in time. Lamb, again, that left foot, prods it forward, collected by Clune. And then he finds Lolohea. Lolohea offloads as he has to at this stage. They've got to go from deep. They've got to chance their arm. They've got to take risks. Now is the time to gamble. That's Masters. That's Lolohea. Yeah, the time has gone from just betting red or black. They've got to be betting on individual numbers now, haven't they? They've got to start taking huge chances.
Yeah, they've got to roll the dice at some point.
Big stakes, but big odds. 4,385 are watching the game here at the John Smiths tonight, and most of them will be hoping that Huddersfield were going to get their first home win of the Super League season. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Leigh on the road, looking to pick up only their second win of the season. They previously won at Hull, big win there, 54-4. This is much closer, but it'll count 2 points just the same. Russell, Chris Hill, Clune. It's a bouncing ball. to Kevin Nagama. Nagama, can he get free? He can't. The tackle comes in from Darnell McIntosh, who's making his debut tonight against his old club. Part of a swap deal that took Tom Briscoe to Hull, and briefly Ed Chamberlain too, although he's returned from his loan deal. There's the kick forward, but no real pressure, no real problem you feel for Matt Moylan, who coasts back to pick it up on his own line, then throws a pass that he didn't need to throw. That was a risk for a team leading by 10.
Well, he ended up a brilliant kick from the back rower in Sam Hewitt, turns Moylan around, and then the cheek just to get past him, throw that ball back inside to Marla Hanley, who must have been thinking, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah, we talked about Moylan's experience, but that was a pass along his own try line like a rookie, wasn't it, really? That would have Adrian Lamb screaming from the sidelines, what are you doing, Matt? And as you said, Carl, Yumala Hanley would have thought something similar. But Leigh have tied it up. They've moved 35 metres away from their own try line here, and they've got the ball in the hands of Lachlan Lamb, and Lamb has belted it downfield, buying some land, gets it into the hands of Elliot Wallace. Wallace stepping, Wallace dancing, they'll close him down. Ipape will come in and say, not today, Elliot.
Drove him back there with Trout. They've got probably about 18 tackles left, Rod, before this game is well and truly theirs.
Yeah. They've done a lot very well, Leigh, tonight, haven't they?
I think the biggest point of difference, again, I've mentioned it earlier, is their ability to cover for one another, even when they were stretched, and just keep showing up and keep coming up with crucial plays defensively. And then I think Matt Moylan, with the ball, has been pretty good as well. You know, we saw him a number of times sweeping and acting almost like a secondary fullback, just reading the game so well.
Not much more than 5 minutes left now. Chris Hill on the charge. Clune. And appeals for a penalty, but it is the last tackle. Just collect your thoughts, Carl, because in a minute I'm going to ask you who your Betfred player of the match is going to be. But let's just see what happens here first and foremost. James Vella comes across. He gives Huddersfield the penalty. So let's just see what happens with this set of 6 while Carl Amor collects his thoughts before naming their player of the match. That is Masters restarting the game with the tap penalty. Yates drives in. 3 Leigh Leopards go in. Owen Trout appears to have got hurt. That is Russell. That looks high. It's not given. It was legitimate, says James Vella. A clamping challenge from Holton. That's Yates. That's Clune. That's Hill. Chris Hill, 10 metres out, still going Chris Hill. Taken down by Holt, taken down by Amon. Now Matt Moylan comes in on the stop. It's Ash Golding. They spin it to this near side to Masters, who had a try chalked off by the video referee. Obstruction was given. Can he smuggle the ball free? He can't. He's clamped by Chamberlain and Moylan and by Trout. There is Golding again. You feel they must score in this set. And Clune kicks. Was he tripped? Play on. Is that a try? Is that a try for Kevin Ngama? Kevin Ngama is given the try. And Kevin Ngama has breathed life into Huddersfield's hopes. The chip ahead from Adam Clune. And Kevin Ngama gets a crucial try. His 4th of the Super League season. 25 in 40 appearances now for Huddersfield, a prolific try scorer. Yeah. And that could be a crucial try.
Back-to-back tries for Ngama, but he needs his half-back to hurry up. Well, the referee's now called time. The clock was ticking over earlier. Of course, any try inside the final 5 minutes, the clock will stop. And Russell...
Well, he simply has to kick this.
And he does,
and he has
well.
kicked it.
Right then, 3 minutes to go. If you're watching at home,
time is off.
Maybe strap yourself in. We talked about the Giants needing to roll the dice. They do on that occasion. And Ngama dots the ball down. Kevin Ngama scores.
The video referee is looking at something here, Ben Thaler. And the time is off, as you see there. Ngama's try. I think we're looking back at the trip. I did say, was Clune tripped? Play continued and the try was scored. So the try's going to stand. There's no shadow of a doubt about that. And there's going to be trouble here for Brad Dwyer, I think.
Darnell, number 33.
So the video referee reckons it's a trip. So we'll...
Thanks, mate. Number 33.
Replay there.
30, yeah, done. Excellent. Yeah.
OK, so the try's going to stand and Brad Dwyer's going to be in the sin bin. You talk about a twist in the plot.
Just confirm it's done on Macintosh.
3.5 minutes left. Good job you didn't give us your player of the match.
Brad Dwyer.
Just sticks that leg out there, knows exactly what he's doing, does Brad Dwyer. He's not had many minutes this evening.
Okay.
But he's going to find himself in the bin, and Leigh are going to have to do this last
lead up, there is a trip. It's a
3.5 minutes. Incredibly tough.
Off he goes.
Huddersfield have got a chance here, Rod. They've got a real opportunity. 13 plays 12.
Well, Leigh now have had a player sin-binned on 3 separate occasions in the match. Chamberlain and Holton in the first half. Dwyer now right at the death. And we saw earlier that Huddersfield scored 13v11. Now, Kyle, can they score again 13v12?
You would imagine so. But for Leigh, that's their 10th player sin bin this season, Rod. And could that be really, really probably the most costly one as Icky Heathall winds up? Here we go.
Well, just over 3 minutes left. What's the game plan? Have they got time to build an attack, or do they need to go gung-ho?
I don't think they have to score this set. Just get through it, put the kick into the corner and chase like you haven't chased before.
Hill, the ball is in motion. So is Clune, so is Cudjoe. It was Clune who got the ball kicked forward. It was collected by Ngama. Clune was tripped by Dwyer. Dwyer in the bin. Ngama with the 4-point play. Converted as well by Russell. So 13 against 12 for the final 3. Have they got a rabbit to pull out of the hat to send us into overtime? Chance here. Luke Yates is on the gallop. The gap closed. The door was shut.
Waller here. Tips it on to Cudjoe. Ngama
again. Ngama on the gallop. Out the back door. Picked up by Lola here. Being hunted down. He escapes. Kicks forward. It's going to end up in goal here. Matt Moylan. Has he got time to watch it?
Oh, cool as you like,
well,
Ron.
Cool as you like. Light the cigar.
Cool as you like. And with that...
Are you going to tell me that he's going to be the player of the match?
I was just... And then I looked down at the clock, Rod, and there's still 2 minutes left. But regardless, I just think he's been incredible tonight. Helped set up that first try for Josh Charnley. And then kicking has been on point. But not only that, just his actions off the ball as well.
Well,
He's our Betfred player of the match, Rod.
Thanks, Carl. That was cool, wasn't it? Very cool. His goal kicking in the end is going to be highly significant. We're in a game here, believe it or not, where it's 2 tries apiece. Doesn't feel like that, but it is.
No.
And so the difference is Moylan, literally, on the scoreboard.
I also have to give a special mention as well, Rod, to Ed Chamberlain. I think he's come up with... You don't have, obviously, you don't get points for it. But the coaches and the players... Well, there's an error here.
Ball spilled.
One more chance. One more chance here.
It was a rather casual carry, I thought, from Owen Trout. He seemed to amble in the challenge, and the ball got dislodged. There is 1 minute and 9 seconds left in this game. Huddersfield have the scrum. They'll have the ball from the scrum win. They have a man advantage. It's 13v12. They've got 69 seconds to score and convert to send this match into extra time golden point.
I'm not sure.
Can they?
What was Trout thinking there, just ambling that ball in? There's an air of arrogance about that.
Cudjoe at the back of the scrum, from the scrum win. Here come the Giants. One last roll of the dice. Can they roll a double 6? Isan Masters. Halsol's in at dummy half. Luke Yates has kept trying, he's kept plugging away. Golding's in there. Tackles beginning to ebb away here for the Giants. Russell, Clune, Tulla here. Oh, it's dropped. It is dropped. The ball is spilled. Agony for Huddersfield.
Well, it started the game with Wallace dropping a difficult pass, and on that occasion that ball was there for the taking, Rod.
Well, Elliot Wallace, who 2 weeks ago on this very ground scored a wonder try against the Wigan Warriors when he went more than half the length of the field to score a sensational 4-pointer, has dropped the ball there. He dropped the ball at the start as well when he had half a chance of scoring when it was 0-0. It hasn't been his night tonight. What a difference a fortnight makes.
Yeah, well, that first one he can be forgiven of, but the second one wasn't easy to catch. He almost just ran a bit too far forward, but perhaps he's seen that the try line was begging. If he arrived on that with perfect timing, he ghosted in that corner and sent this game potentially into extra time.
Well, now just going to be the simple basics here. Oh, that doesn't come much more basic than that from Zad Harthager, who just simply carries the ball forward, goes to ground, takes the tackle, and Leigh have won. And Huddersfield have lost at home for the 5th straight time in the Super League this season. Leigh Leopards have hung on. They've hung on. They've got a precious win. They moved to within 1 point of the Giants on the league ladder, thanks to 2 tries from Charlie Nipape and the laser-accurate goal-kicking of Matt Moylan, the player of the match. It's a hard-fought win in the end. Huddersfield, you felt, had half a chance of snatching what would have been a draw and then golden point extra time to follow, but they couldn't quite get the 3rd try that would have sent us into extra time. What are your conclusions, Kyle?
Well, Huddersfield Giants, you know, credit to them. I've written them off completely for the second half, but they showed up well. They made an account of themselves. They showed a little bit of spirit, but in the end, it was that first half, wasn't it? The 14 points in the first half just give them too much of a mountain to climb. And you look at the scoreboard there, at 16 points to 10 to the Leigh Leopards. The real difference. Yes, you mentioned Matt Moylan's kicking, but it probably had been a Pape's try. The ability just to cut through that weak defence. That's something that could have easily been fixed and turned this game into a lot more even keel. But credit to them for coming back. But Derek Beaumont, Adrian Lamb, Chris Chester and the rest of the Leigh Leopards, will they take that win on the road.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, Carl. Never write off the Saints or the Giants or something. And there's the full-time score. Huddersfield have failed narrowly. They've been beaten at home. Huddersfield 10, Leigh 16. We'll be back with